Okay, so I have here with me Troy from Swinburne University of Technology, who will speak to us about the university and the courses it offers.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, so Swinburne University has three main games degrees. There's Bachelor of Arts in Games and Interactivity, which is kind of like film school for games. So students learn all of the basics about the kind of culture and principles of play. We go through board game design, alternate reality games, as well as like with projects that you're seeing here, like digital games for a whole range of different platforms. We're pretty much what we could say platform agnostic, so we work across any possible kind of platform that suits a student's concept for play. As well as that main kind of Bachelor of Arts program, there's a double degree, which is Games and Interactivity with Computer Science. So it couples that whole film school with for games kind of approach with software engineering, so students learning how to program and make games. And alongside that, there's a third degree, which is games development. So it's kind of that provides a spectrum of possibilities in terms of game design, development, across all of the disciplines, from art, animation to writing, storytelling, core game design, software development, pretty much everything. The only thing we don't do is sound and music. We have collaborative arrangements with other institutions who compose soundtracks for our games and so forth.
What's the estimated enrollment in the courses which you actually just spoke about? And if you could remember, how many percentage would be international students?
Oh, okay. So across the whole university, including the TAFE programs, there's over 300 game students at Swinburne University. Off the top of my head, I would probably say that maybe about 5-10% are international students, and that's across all of the programs, whether it's art or software development, game design, pretty much across the whole spectrum of our degrees.
What's the criteria for and getting into like one of these programs?
Okay, so it's by enter score. So some of our students come through the TAFE program. Some of the students are coming straight out of year 12 or from high school, and different degrees have different scores. Our highest scoring degree is the double degree, software engineering, and that also requires a mathematics component. But other than that, the criteria is quite broad, because we want a really diverse population of students. Because we take them right from the beginning, kind of utilize whatever skills they might have, but then add on top of those. So learn, if they want to specialize in writing, they can do that. If they want to specialize in 3D modeling, they can do that. If they want to specialize in game design, they can do that. If they want to specialize in software development, they can do that, as well as other connections with journalism, media studies, and animation, and other disciplines as well.
What sort of support or opportunities do you actually offer the students in general in regards to gaming, like job placements out there? What sort of support does the school give them, or like what projects do you offer them to actually work on?
Oh yeah, sure. So, well, one thing to consider first up is our entire approach to the way that we teach the degree is in a professional context. So it's all studio-based, and we give students right from year one project briefs that require them to work as if they are in a game studio. In our final year, we model the entire year as a games development studio with our capstone unit, which runs across both kind of software development and art and design. But before students get to that final kind of capstone unit, they have an option to do IBL, which is industry-based learning. So just recently, just in the last kind of month, we've got a couple of new IBL placements with EA starting next year. So there's kind of 3 students going into that kind of industry placement, and we're looking to develop other partnerships as well.
And what kind of support do you offer international students who might be interested who are doing this course at the moment? Do they actually get the same opportunities as the locals, or does the school actually offer them any other kind of support as well?
At Swinburne University, there's a lot of support for international students, not just in games, but across the entire university in terms of kind of like places to stay, kind of community clubs and so forth. All the things you usually expect, right? But what we find, particularly in games, is that international students will provide a kind of broader context for kind of ideas, introducing other approaches or kind of ways to kind of think through game problems, because every like if you look at gaming in Australia, it's kind of quite different to say Korea or Japan or kind of Scotland or where else kind of think of it has a unique game culture. Basically all around kind of different cultures will have different types of gaming, so that kind of that's not really support, but it's a kind of example of the kind of diverse approach that we take to games at Swinburne. So we've in the last 3 years redeveloped the curriculum, and the kind of idea is to move away from games as being just one thing, but games as rather being a kind of like a diverse range of possibilities in terms of play, and so kind of bringing in a diverse kind of range of different points of view into that process is really important.
What happens to most of the graduates who come out from these programs? Where do they find work at?
Sure. Well, some of our recent graduates start their own studios. Some of them go to work in game studios, or even the other thing that is happening now is because there's such a huge, diverse range of applications for play and games. They might not work in game studios at all, but they might be working on playful activities in anything from as dull as corporations, or working on serious games, or kind of other gaming contexts. Some of our graduates have got a game on display here at PAX, it's called Screen Cheat, which is just released on the Steam platform a week or so back. So they've started their own company. They come up with this concept at a game jam, developed it, got support from Surprise Attack, and then published this game online to great success. So that's kind of, we want to encourage and support more of that type of activity. I guess coming back to your kind of question about what kind of support and encouragement we give to our students, the main kind of message that we try to give to them is to develop your own games, to develop your own kind of vision, and to push that, and so all through the degree we encourage original IP, original content, and for students to get that stuff out there. And the games that we have on display are kind of an example of that, and we're showcasing 4 of these games and a whole bunch of other stuff at a exhibition on December 11th this year, which will be at kind of Swinburne. And essentially, another way to support our students is to kind of show their content and get it out there, get other people to see it.
In your opinion, where do you see the gaming industry in Australia will head to in the next maybe 3 to 5 years? And how do you think that university is able to actually match the skills or the demands of this industry? What are the steps that university will take to cater to these demands or challenges?
Sure. Well, I mean, one of the challenges is just the audience for games expands, and both in terms of size and diversity. That's a really good thing, right? Because it means there's more people playing games. But you like I was saying before about platforms, you can't kind of just tie yourself to one platform and just kind of work with that. You've got to kind of consider the full gamut of possibilities. So part of the way that we like to teach, the philosophy of teaching that we take with our degrees, is to kind of teach the basic principles of play and game design. Not so much the technology, because anyone can learn the technology, but how to make a good game is really challenging. And so we're going to see more and more good games emerge over the next 3 to 5 years. But as to what they are, we don't know, because you can't. There's each year a couple of games break the mold and show new possibilities. There's also new types of gaming emerging, like physical gaming and serious games, and all of these other kind of forms which aren't necessarily even screen-based. They're kind of mobile or kind of based in city streets and kind of in real-world kind of locations. So these are other challenges to kind of bring to students. But I mean, we're at a time in culture and society where play is becoming kind of the basis of everything. So it's really a challenge for game designers to find all of the possibilities across that kind of full kind of range of cultural experience and make a game for each of those little kind of niches in that kind of huge play space.